Good morning, everyone. So, what I want to talk about today is the word "I'm sorry." So, when my daughter was growing up, um, when bad things happened, um, problem they always wanted people to say "I'm sorry." And when my child was growing up, my son, it was like the word was so used so freely. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, but it just seemed like it was still happening. So what I learned when I had my daughter was that you can say you're sorry, but until you can feel or know that experience of what it's like to be truly sorry. So let's say I put something bad out there, right? And then I say I'm sorry. Did I learn from that? Absolutely not. Didn't learn anything. And then I'm going to do it again, right? So how I've learned what I'm sorry means is when you do something and then hold on a second. Okay. I'm not learning, but when I get the experience, maybe in a different way, I get a reminder of I get a reminder of what happened, what I put out there. So I've learned from my own mistakes, by acknowledging, oh, I get it. Like a bell goes off, right? So it's really important that before you say sorry to someone, until you experience what you put out, it really doesn't mean anything. Some people are like accept it freely, which I've done in the past, but then they did it again. So what's the point? Some people don't even say they're sorry. They don't even own it. And that's okay too. You don't have to do anything. And that's where that forgiveness comes in. So I have made a habit of, like, I'll get mad, like, inside, I'll come home and I'll talk out with Father in my room, and, we go over it, and then it will hit me like a brick. Um, it's self-sabotage. I'm just like, or he'll give me what, sometimes he'll give me like the backstory, and I'm like, oh, really? Oh, okay. You know what I mean? But he only shares with me what I need to know about that situation. There's nothing more to it, and it is what it is. Gossip is gossip, anger is anger, unforgiveness is unforgiveness. But unforgiveness really can hurt somebody. I mean, I mean, you can. We can still forgive and still have the remorse. You can forgive and still not understand. But if we're not understanding, then how can we forgive, right? So Father has his own ways of how he helps each individual with the situation. Um, Sometimes after people have done the act and they're suffering the consequences, they are truly sorry. But there are some that just doesn't have it in them. And I don't know what that is about, but don't want to know either. I'll just stick with what I'm given. Um, when I think about when a person, I don't think that when things happen, I don't think they think it through, right? Because anger is anger, and they just do it, and then the consequences are sitting in a cell somewhere for days in and days out, and then they have to go out there into the real community to wherever they're going to be in, and then they have to deal with all these other people who are criminals too, and it's scary. I mean, I can't even imagine. I have family members who have been in prison, and so, and it's just, I think about those things. I think about the victims, and I think about I think about the whole thing. I don't just think about right now. You know, it's hard for me sometimes because I can't even imagine. But when you hear stories, those are the things I think about. I just I care a lot about everyone in the world, and but I love God first, so He keeps me sane by giving it to Him to learn how to cope with things. On my own, I've tried, and I've even tried other ways. Um, it doesn't work that way. God is the healer. He is the one that heals everything. I had talked about it in the past. People in jail who are finding God, and they're using themselves as their temples. But your temple is really in you. I used to never think that. You are God's temple. Because it is written in the Bible that He's in our heart. But I'm like, how can He be in the heart of all of us who think weird things, and we do weird things, and we do all these things. But I guess until we find Him, really find Him in our heart, and that's how we start the healing process. I just find it fascinating because for a long time I never thought He was inside. And I felt like I remember when I was first walking with the Lord, and I said to my mom, God is in us. I still had a hard time wrapping my mind around it because I was a drinker. I've done bad things. I stole when I was a kid. I was held accountable. And then my dad, he didn't talk to me for months over that. He was so disappointed in me. And then years later, I stole from him and he made me pay me back. And that was it. That was the end of stealing for me. But I was always held accountable. So when my daughter was growing up, she said, I never had a secret. It was always exposed by someone. And that's what happened to me. And I realized that yesterday. I was like, you're right. It's happened to me too. Even with my own dad, all his stuff has been exposed. My brother, all his stuff exposed on Facebook. We've all been exposed in some way. And it's humiliating. I felt bad for my brother. At first I was angry with him, through the roof, angry. And then I started thinking, God, he was publicly humiliated. He did the crime. He's paying the time now, but he's also dying. So Father, it was way back in November. It was right after I got fired, and I was drinking. Because I was fired, and then God brought to my attention about my brother, and I had to find that place for forgiveness for him, and I did. I found it. I love him very much. He is who he is. The mask is off, and he is living his life, where he needs to be. I'm hoping that he finds peace, and everything will go well for him. In every shape and form of my life, I've had to learn, but God allows us to have that anger for a period of time. And then I went back and I repented everything, and I found that forgiveness for him. And then I had to find the forgiveness for myself because I was acting like God. I was judging him, and I shouldn't have. But that's what anger does, right? It puts you in spots you think, oh, that won't happen to me. It does happen. It does happen to you. It really does. I'm hoping that my videos give an insight to even my own life and my own experiences, that it will give you guys a road or a path to get where you need to be, in a good, wholesome way, in love and peace, and understanding, and look beyond the veil, because there's always that front, but that front doesn't always last forever. It will be revealed. For me, it was an instant. Everything was instant. Instant. Do I ever get a break? Nope, you don't get a break. You don't get breaks. When it's time to come out, it will come out. Because Father, He makes sure it does, one way or the other. Alright, I'll leave you guys with that. God bless. And remember, God loves you first, and He loves you unconditionally.